When you think of a team like the Miami Heat, you instantly think of an organization that operates at the highest level of standards, a winning pedigree, hard-nosed, strong-willed team that is always going to give you maximum effort on the court, a franchise that has always embraced a team-first mindset and a hard-working culture, Heat culture as it is often referred to. And that culture starts at the very top of the executive team all the way down to the players, and this culture has led to a lot of success in recent years where the Heat, regardless of their seeding in the playoffs, have always been a team you cannot take lightly, and a team that has seen multiple deep playoff runs, including going to the finals twice in the conference finals in 3 of the last 5 seasons, and of course going to 4 straight finals and winning 2 of them during the LeBron years. But more recently, there has slowly but surely been a shift in how this organization is perceived, a culture shift that has been eating away at this once very well respected, highly sought after free agency destination of a franchise. This Heat culture, simply put, is dying. A culture predicated on performance, winning, trust, and leadership is falling apart right before our eyes. The question is, how did we get here? And what was the turning point for this franchise? And can it in fact be saved? Well, let's talk about it. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like this type of content, it would mean a great deal to me if you subscribe to get us to our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Now, when things started to go sour in the relationship between Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, it wasn't all that surprising given Jimmy's history, his personality, and knowing that a hard-minded player will inevitably clash with a hard-minded executive in Pat Riley and even a hard-minded coach in Erik Spoelstra. And Jimmy Butler by no means should be absolved of any blame in how things ended in his time in Miami. I even put out a video recently before the trade that Jimmy Butler needs a reality check and some self-awareness when it comes to his strong-arming and holding the organization hostage. But there is also something to be said about how the Heat have handled not only the situation with Jimmy Butler, but with multiple star players in the past, and how despite being one of the biggest free agency destinations in the league, has not been able to assemble a team to get them over the hump and produce multiple championships since LeBron left in 2014. Like, as much as people praise Pat Riley and the Heat for consistently producing great teams, winning seasons, and drafting well despite never having high draft picks, you cannot ignore that he lost LeBron James in his prime after taking the team to the finals 4 straight years. And yes, I know for LeBron, it was more than just basketball and staying with the Heat to keep up the short-lived dynasty, if you want to call it that. He wanted to go back to Cleveland to try and win a championship there. But when you have the greatest player on the planet to go alongside another superstar in Dwayne Wade, you have to do everything in your power to hang on to that for dear life. And even though, yes, LeBron will claim that he wanted to go home and that all of this was bigger than basketball for the reason he made that decision, people forget that LeBron also wanted to get paid. He wanted a max contract, which he sacrificed getting and took a pay cut to assemble the Big Three in the first place in 2010. And when that contract was up, he wanted what he deserved, given he was clearly the #1 player in the league, and especially when we were seeing signs of decline from Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And Pat Riley, like we've seen so many times before, tried to play hardball, and it backfired by losing one of the greatest players to ever play the game that he could build around the franchise for years to come. That was a massive fumble that I don't think gets talked about enough. And then just a couple years later, he tried to do the same thing with his franchise player, the player they drafted and brought him a championship as a head coach, in fact, a beloved figure in Miami, all because once again, Pat Riley tried to play hardball when it came to a contract extension with Dwayne Wade. Now, I don't necessarily blame Riley for being wary of signing Wade to a large extension after having multiple injuries and being 35 years old at that time, but you also have to realize this is arguably the greatest player in your franchise's history, and for an organization that preaches loyalty and trust and a team-first mindset, this is a situation where you can forego the strong-arming tactic and consider rewarding one of your greatest players that won 3 championships for this team. Now, even despite those blunders, the Heat over the course of the following seasons were still able to maintain their identity and what they stood for. Despite some down years, they were able to get right back up by drafting well with guys like Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, and then of course signing Jimmy Butler as a free agent, a player that would take them from being a lottery team to a championship contender. And when it was clear the Heat were right on the cusp of winning a championship, they were right there to be a team to go all in by adding another star or stars to get them there. It never happened. And to me, that has been one of the biggest fumbles for the Heat as an organization in recent years, because it would be different if this was a small market team, an undesirable destination that is hard to attract talent to come play for you, even if you are making finals runs. But what's the team that is always at the top of every star player's shortlist when they have either requested a trade or they hit free agency? It's the Miami Heat. Guys like Kevin Durant, when he was wanting out of Brooklyn, had the Heat as a destination that he wanted to go to. Donovan Mitchell, when it was clear the Jazz were shopping him, he also had Miami on his short list. And then let's not forget, they had Damian Lillard, who said that he wanted to go to Miami and Miami only, that he wasn't interested in being traded to any other team, and would even go as far as to have his agent tell other teams trying to trade for him to not even bother unless they want a disgruntled player, and that he would eventually still push to be traded to Miami anyway. Damian Lillard was there for the taking for Miami. They had all the leverage and power to make that happen, and somehow they fumbled the bag on that one too, and doing so after they had just gone to the finals and had a superstar all but theirs. And why? Well, because they tried to play hardball and get Dame for next to nothing, and it pissed the Blazers off so much that they did everything in their power to ensure Dame didn't end up in Miami. Now, some of this was on the Blazers, and it was believed they didn't really negotiate in good faith and simply wanted to stick it to the Miami Heat after they made some insulting trade offers for Damian Lillard, but the fact still remains is that this is yet another case where the Heat tried to strong-arm their way into a deal, thought, hey, we're the Heat, if you want to work with us, these are our conditions, and it led to them missing out on yet another star that could have potentially gotten them a championship alongside Jimmy Butler. And to Jimmy's defense and how his time ended in Miami, he wanted to win. And if he's seeing this franchise can't even land star-level talent and put the right pieces in place when players are wanting to go there, how is that supposed to inspire confidence for him that they're going to put the right guys around him to win a championship? And look, to me, a lot of this goes back to Pat Riley, because his old school, hard-headed, strong-arm philosophy, team player, team-first approach doesn't really work in today's NBA. And this is coming from someone who is a bit old school and isn't a fan of how the league and game is played today. But the fact of the matter is, it's a players' league now. A stars league where they have so much say and control in terms of where they want to go and the players they want around them. And Pat Riley can try and push back on that as much as he wants and be firm in his resolve that his team won't operate that way because it's not in line with Heat culture, but it's going to backfire. And it has backfired, as we've seen multiple instances with this team over the past decade. And unfortunately, that frustration, that disconnect is trickling down to the players, because I watch this Heat team now, and they don't play with the same sense of passion and energy and that edge that we're used to seeing from this organization. This is a team that very much looks checked out, is disorganized and lost on offense, and a team that is no longer playing for each other and living by the Heat culture standard as they so often used to pride themselves on. Where do the Heat go from here? I don't really know, because they don't have that much to be excited about for the future and are at a bit of a crossroads in terms of what path and direction they try and take to still compete now or tear it all down and build for the future. I'd love to hear what you guys think though. You let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.